Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey, and you're listening to a special episode of Talking California with Mayor Mario Guerra. Folks, it's great to see everyone. A lot of things have happened in the last 30 days, and I wanted to recap because every single one was almost unprecedented in our country. And we've been in this state of every single week, something bigger than the last has happened, and we're now in that position. So I wrote it down. Let me recap what's happened in the last month, okay? The last 30 days, literally. So first of all, there was a terrible debate. President Joe Biden says, I had a bad night, had a terrible debate. It scared the heck out of all the top Democrats. Polling shows that he was going down and all the down ballot tickets and so forth. And it was something that he couldn't overcome. It was his age. Because all the other stuff, oh, he's a great man, he's done great things, but his age, and then how are we going to do for the next 4 years? So he has a bad debate. Then he has bad interviews. And the remarks on that was, well, he didn't really hurt himself, but he didn't help himself. He stuttered a lot. He showed his age. He kind of reinforced what everybody else was thinking. Then, of course, there's an assassination attempt on President Trump. And thank goodness for a couple of days, the whole country came together because violence does not have any place in the American democracy. And I'm glad that even all the Dems and everybody came together and to wish him luck and speedy recovery and hopefully get to the bottom of this. And we're seeing in Congress how both the Republicans and the Democrats are trying to get answers from the FBI, the Secret Service. How could this happen? So make sure that it doesn't happen again. And President Trump, former President Trump, came within a quarter inch of dying, which would have been catastrophic for the United States of America. Whether you like him or not, it's catastrophic to kill a former president. So then what happened? So then you had the RNC convention, okay? Seems to be a lot of unity there in Milwaukee. Even some of President Trump's former critics, including one from the past on there that he named as vice president candidate, J.D. Vance. What an American story that is, right? He comes from poor country there in Kentucky and then was raised in Ohio. Grandmother was an addict. Dad was an alcoholic. Grandma raised him. He said, cussed like a sailor, but yet kept him on the straight and narrow. He goes and he joins the Marines, goes to Ohio State University, gets a degree at Yale, a law degree at Yale, starts his own company, becomes very successful, and becomes U.S. Senator, United States Senator from the great state of Ohio just 2 years ago. What an American story, right? Kind of what President Biden said yesterday in his going out speech on there, that somebody from like him can now be sitting behind the resolute desk. So America, a great country of first and amazing things that can happen with expectations of working hard. So you have the RNC and he picks the VP. So then President Biden gets a lot of pressure. He gets COVID, goes off to Delaware. And I guess at 1:45 this last Sunday, he decides that he needs to resign and go forward for the state of the country because democracy is at stake. Those are his words, not mine. So I don't know how at 10 o'clock in the morning he was fighting hard, and at 1:45 he says, uncle, and gives in to them and so forth. So, and then yesterday he has a primetime speech saying all these great things that he's done, but more importantly, the great things he's going to do in the next 6 months, which, he's going to obviously fix the border. He's going to lower the cost of health care. He's going to take care of immigration. He's going to make sure that medicines are lower. He's going to reform the Supreme Court. I forgot the other things on there, which in 6 months is amazing. But the big question is, why haven't you done it in 3.5 years? Nothing's different in the last 6 months. And then, of course, there's the coronation of Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the nominee. Remember, up until a week ago, President Biden kept talking about 14 million people voted for me. 14 million people voted for me. They have to be heard. They have to be heard. But I guess that they don't have to. I guess there's 4,000 delegates that control everything. Those 14 million voices get a little silence. So they did a poll, and it's amazing. In 24 hours, wow, she is now the presidential candidate. And remember, she is one that had to drop out of the race for president after she insulted President Joe Biden, called him a racist for working with other senators, literally publicly at a public debate. So anyways, she is now coronated to be the the presidential nominee from the Democratic Party. And some of the things I get jumping on the bandwagon. But when you look at some of these things, I've been doing TV interviews all week for Telemundo and a couple other stations. And there's a lot of issues that, pop up to mind that maybe didn't get done in the last 3 years. Or again, you're promising to fix everything. She promised yesterday in a speech in Wisconsin, the middle class important, I will fix the middle class. Okay, had 3.5 years. How are you going to do that? Why didn't you do that? I am going to make sure that abortion is legal for everyone. Okay, it's not in some states, but the Supreme Court said states can do that. President Trump has agreed with that. It should be up to the states. She was the border czar. That's what they called her. And she didn't go to the border for almost the first year. And yet the border, up until 2 months ago, there was just leaking in people. Folks, I am an immigrant. I'm a refugee. I am all for immigration. Okay? I am all for legal immigration. And I understand illegal immigration. I understand that the goodness of this country, and I would have done anything I can to bring my family here, whether legally or illegally. So I understand all that. But we can't let them come in without knowing who they are and just letting them come in. That people that are bad people that have killed innocent Americans. But most importantly, you have to have borders. So our southern border has been a sieve of people coming in. A couple months ago, they said, oh my gosh, this is terrible. We're, 1 million people are coming through every other month. So they did make it restrictive to 2,500 people a day. But it took them 2.5 years to do that. So my question is, you didn't see this as an issue before and everybody kept telling you. So now that you did it, which I'm glad you did. It's not perfect yet either. But, okay, California suffers so much from that. You've had 3.5 years to fix DACA. Okay, there's 500,000 kids out there, young people, that came here through no fault of theirs. They're on hold. Their lives are on hold. I think Congress should work together with them, but that needs to be at the top of the issue. You haven't been able to fix that, even when you had the presidency in Congress under President Obama. Why haven't we done some of those things, including what have we done about inflation? My point is, this all sounds great. Let's go on the records and see. In California, when you were the Attorney General, you were not very hard on criminals. You were the other way around. When we had a couple of death penalty issues on the ballot, you were neutral, and one barely passed, and one actually did pass. The Californians, the residents in California, voted to expedite the death penalty. I wasn't in favor of that, but you kept quiet, and it passed. So you haven't taken the tough positions, so now you can say you're a prosecutor and everything's tough. So I just have a lot of hypocrisy. I'm waiting back to see, because you never got a single vote when you were running. You came in 7th place, I believe. You didn't get that, and you had 90% turnover on your staff. So a lot of things, maybe things have changed in the last 3 years for you working with President Biden. So how we trust you now, I don't know. My eyes are open. I understand it comes to a couple key states. I could tell you California, folks, and even today, Governor Newsom says we have to do more about the homeless, and cities that aren't doing things about them, like Los Angeles, after the Supreme Court decision allow you to do more. It's unacceptable. I played hooky yesterday, and I took my grandson with my wife, my 10-year grandson. We went to the Gene Autry Museum. We went to the LA Zoo, had a great tour there. And then we went up to the Griffith Observatory, and we saw the planetarium show. It's amazing. Folks, go up there, take that, show your kids what it takes to have life. You need water and carbons and all these other things, and the differences of all the planets in the solar system. And it was really a great day. We came back down Vermont, and then we came down 6th Street because the freeway was so crowded. And oh my gosh, I locked the doors, and I wanted to leave there as soon as possible. My grandson was asking me, why are these people doing drugs and needles right there on the sidewalk? For 3 blocks, why are there just tents of people defecating in the streets and doing it? On 6th Street, just past Rampart. It was a third world country, and you know what? That's 13 miles from where I live. And it was terrible. How do we allow that to happen in the United States of America? How do we allow that to happen in the state of California, and specifically the city of Los Angeles? Folks, I don't care what kind of politician you are. Los Angeles, get your head out of your bat. You got to be able to do something about it. This is not fair to everybody else. It's not fair to those people living there. Yesterday was 90 some odd degree heat. It was terrible heat. So help those people, clean those places up, give them places to go. We have that. We've given you tons of money. I know that you're spending $700,000 per unit to build these things. There's another ballot proposition, again, more to continue for the homeless, but do something about it. You now have the fortitude. You now have the law on your side. Fix it. So Kamala Harris, when you were in California and you live here in the state of California, you live in Brentwood, and you come here often, so this is no surprise. What have you done for the state of California in all this time to fix that problem? Okay, so these are the questions I want to ask. I was embarrassed yesterday to be a Californian. I'm not going anywhere. Okay, I love the state. I'm going to be fighting for the state. We have too much good stuff here. We have too many great people. But we got to get away from this culture that one-party rule in what they do in the state of California. They're not accountable to anybody. They fight among themselves on how to spend our money without coming through and doing something about it. So I'm getting off on a tangent, okay? And it started out with the last 30 days. I am really, really worried about our country now more than ever, because there's only 100 days to prosecute the record of Kamala Harris, or even President Trump, if you will. But he's a well-known factor. We don't know what Kamala Harris has been doing for the last 3 years. Guarantee you she's going to stay on point. Her gabberish things that she had in the past are going to be, a thing of the past, because she's going to stay on teleprompter. You're not going to hear some of her silly things where she rambled off, and there are going to be a lot of memes about it. Well, we don't know what she said. But I'm telling you that she needs to make her record clear. Her number one thing is going to be he's a convicted felon, and her number 2 thing, abortion, abortion, abortion. Abortion's not an issue anymore. Okay, it really isn't. And I don't mean to be flippant about it, because I understand it's an emotional issue for a lot of people. But in the states that allow abortions, look at California. We pay for you to come and fly in here. Okay, there's going to be a constitutional amendment that we pass that says that anybody can have an abortion. And so that's not going to change here. So Kamala, you're not going to help California and those people that feel the same way. And other states, every time the state puts it up for a referendum, it mostly passes. So let the states do that. You're not going to convince certain states to do it. There's not going to be a national ban one way or the other, or an open ban. We know this, but yet you're going to make this a campaign issue because it suits you and your demographics. So good luck with that, but give us some substance. Give us something on the other side that we can say, wow, hopefully my life will be better if you are president. Okay, it's not going to change on abortion. It's not going to change on some of these other issues. It doesn't matter. People have already said that these convictions that nobody really believes per se on Donald Trump. So calling him a convicted felon sounds like a good soundbite. It gets your demographics riled up. I don't know if that does anything else, but look at the unity of the RNC. You're going to have a great show coming up for the DNC, and you're going to have all this publicity, but you didn't earn it getting here, okay? You pushed out your standard bearer. You pushed him out, this nice man on there that should have been 6 months ago. You knew the deterioration, and what did you do? Two things. Either you were complicit and now you helped push him out, or you didn't see it coming, which everybody else in the world did. So which one is it, Kamala? I have issues, and now I've gone on my rate, but the last 30 days in American history have changed our country forever. And now the, what is that show on Channel 2, Big Brother? Expect the unexpected. I don't know what else to expect. So anyways, I welcome your comments, even bad comments. Even from the other side, whoever you are, call me. My cell number is 562-706-4114. 562-706-4114. My email is mario@guerrains.com. I hope you stay informed. I hope you stay involved. I hope you look at both sides of an issue, and feel free to give me a call. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to Talking California with Mayor Mario Guerra.